Hi guys, so this week we have a box of Speed Duels Battle City box to open. So basically I saw this box at the shop this week and I saw that on the back it has 3 secret rare original art reprints of the effect versions of the god cards and 5 secret rare versions of what seems to be like a reprint of proper old school cards. So out came our wallet and that's a well done to Konami. I haven't really looked at Speed Duels before, so it'd be cool to actually see what this new archetype, I guess, is about. And it seems like it's got 8 decks and we can relive epic duels from the Battle City, so probably not going to be expecting anything meta that we're going to pull in this box. And looking at the box, it's a pretty high quality box. We've got Kaiba and Yugi on the front. And then we've got Dark Magician, which I think that might be the tablet art. So I think that's probably what's going to be reprinted in this box. We've also got the 3 gods, obviously. And a final side, we've also got a Blue Eyes White Dragon in the tablet art. So yep, it'll be really cool if we can pull those in Secret Rare today. Okay, so let's have a look at what's inside then. Oh. Straight away we can see our pack of shiny promo cards. Under this we've got I believe these are all playmats. We've got 4 playmats and got these 4 decks of cards. So let's have a look at what's inside them then. The first deck of cards we have Horn of the Phantom Beast, and then I can see a Dark Magician and a Preparation of Rites. And then we have skill card, David. Not sure what that is. I think these are like Speed Duel exclusive cards. And we have the Warrior returning alive as well. So let's crack open the promo cards first and let's see what we've managed to pull. So let's absolutely murdering this pack here. Okay, so this is Slifer the Sky Dragon, and this is the new Speed Duel secret rare. It basically looks like the normal secret rare, but in the effect box we can see in like the Speed Duels like embossed onto the card, as well as Speed Duels on where the old first editions used to be. And moving on, we have, I believe, which god is this? Obelisk. So Obelisk is my least favourite one of the 3 gods, and that's just simply because with this art and also the GBI one as well, the art is just so big and like dark, it just covers up most of the frame and like obscures the foiling, so it just doesn't look as shiny or cool as the other 3. Anyways, moving on, next one is probably Ra. Yep, there it is. Speaking of my favourite card, this is it. So the reason why it's the best, it has this cool sphere mode that we saw back in anime that was so mysterious, as well as it had question mark attack and defense. Back in Playground Yu-Gi-Oh! Question mark was basically infinite, so you are basically king when you slap this down. Okay, time to look at the first card that's not the god cards. What can we get here? Normal monster free. Oh, hello there, Blue Eyes. Oh, that must be one of the best pulls we could get from this set. I think we've been pretty lucky with getting the main character dragons. We got Red Eyes in our first pack in Maximum Gold, and now we've got Blue Eyes. So it is the tablet art with the normal secret rare, which I don't think we've had this before. So we had the PCK with the prismatics, but I think this is the first time we had this tablet art with this type of secret rare. Will the rest of the pack be able to match this? Let's have a look. Spell card. Nobleman of Crossout, another nostalgic big hit. I think this is again first time this card got a secret rare printing. Ooh, I love the secret foiling only over the armor. It actually looks quite good. Normally I prefer the secret rare across the whole card, but this actually works really well. Another good pull. Let's have a look at the next card. Effect monster. What is this? Masked Beast Guardius. Is this one of the new remakes of the Masked Beast? I thought this was like a ritual monster back in the days, which I think used to be. I think one of us had it back in the days, and we're like, "Whoa, this card has above 3,000 attack," and we thought that was really cool because, like, you know, Blue Eyes are meant to be the strongest, and this thing had like a higher attack than Blue Eyes. I guess they had to make a reprint of this because there was no other way to get a level 8 ritual vanilla monster to work in a modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Okay, what's next? Oops. And it's a Foolish Burial. Another nostalgic card. Looks great in the secret rare, which I think it's the first time getting it. But back in the days, we remember this card being like such a stupid card. Like, why would you send one of your own monsters from your deck to the graveyard? But you know, it actually was pretty good in the meta, but just not in Playground Yu-Gi-Oh! And finally, we have a trap card. Metaverse. I think this must be a modern card because I've not really seen it before, so I guess it's okay. Not quite as an amazing opening as the other four, but it's still pretty cool looking card. Very shiny. So overall, I think this has been a pretty cool promo opening. We've got all of these cool cards. We've got the 3 God cards. We've got Blue Eyes. We've got Nobleman of Crossout, Masked Beast, Foolish Burial, and then Metaverse. And that unfortunately happened, but at least the rest of the cards are fixed and we've got all the random bits of this opening all on video. But in the meantime, I had a play around with these decks and had a look at what people think online about this format, and I could see there's a few comments saying essentially how this format doesn't have enough meta decks, or trying to compare this against the GOAT format. But I actually think this is what we sort of need in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I recently got back into this game after about like 10 years, and it's sort of a really steep learning curve to get back up to speed with the modern state of gameplay. And I can just imagine like new players trying to join this stuff. They're just not very friendly to new players. Whereas playing Speed Duels, I never had to worry about someone setting up a 1-card combo and I don't have to do anything for the next 5 minutes while they cycle through the deck. There's no 6 special summons a turn, and realising that I just got FTK'd after being sat there for 5 minutes and not even playing a card. Whereas with this, I could just be like, oh, I want to play Blue Eyes, or I want to play Dark Magician, and then I just build a deck around it and we can slam together these 1800 vanillas, and then eventually we can summon one of these cards and then just win the game. It reminds me a lot more of like the old Playground Yu-Gi-Oh! That we're used to. There's also these skill cards that you can pick up and you end up feeling like a bit of a main character yourself, and you can pick the one that works with your deck, so I think that's quite a nice little twist. So now let's have a look at what the 8 decks that they've said in the box that they have provided us are. The first one, we have like a Dark Magician deck. So I think this deck looks like quite a Yu-Gi based deck with Buster Blader and like Dark Paladin as the boss monsters, but I find that there's quite a lot of high level monsters in this deck and not really that many level 4 below cards, so half the time you end up with this hand that's a bit of a brick, and it wasn't really the best deck to play with. But you'll see that all the decks here, to be fair, pretty janky, but there is a few spare cards that you can also use to power up your deck a little bit. Next we have the Rock deck, which we have all the Magnet Warriors with Valkyrian as the big boss, but really it's just a big beat stick, and half the time you end up using it to swarm out the 3 Magnet Warriors. There are quite a few better 4 stars here with like Giant Soldier of Stone, and we've also got like Grandmag, which is, well, a good source of removal. And I think overall this deck is a lot more playable than what's in the Yugi deck, and it's less of a brick. Okay, our third deck is some sort of a beast/beast warrior deck. I think with this deck, it's more of like a beat down deck, I guess. There's like power up cards that when cards are destroyed in a graveyard, a lot of cards have like floating effects, which helps keeping the monster in the graveyard. We've got Bazoo, which is quite a big beat stick once you use this effect. The higher level monsters are also easier to summon because they have effects that let you summon with less tribute or under certain conditions where you can pay life points to help getting them out a bit quicker, so they're less of a brick while they're holding your hand. And since we've got like power up cards for beast warriors and beasts, they do tend to have pretty respectable attack overall. The fusion's awful though, I probably wouldn't use it. Next, we have the XYZ Dragon Cannon deck. It's like a machine deck, but I think this is quite heavily on the Union monsters. It's actually okay to use in terms of if you can get X on the field. There's quite a few Union monsters out you can power it up with. We've also got stuff like Union Hanger and Frontline Based, helping you search and get those out onto the field without using up all your normal summons. But the issue is, if you're trying to summon any of the XYZ fusion monsters, because you have to banish them, you actually just run out of cards like really quickly, and there's nowhere to recover, and the rest of the cards are pretty rubbish. So overall, it's fun if you can kill them quickly, but it sucks if your XYZ gets removed, because there's just nothing left in your deck to help you win the game. Our fifth deck is the Blue Eyes White Dragon deck. This is more of a beatdown deck where we have mainly high attack level 4 vanillas, where you can equip them with a spell card, and which helps to power them even more and to beat over potentially level 6, level 7 monsters with other decks. There's also a few cards with the spells and traps to help you use your opponent's card for tribute summons, but I don't know why Final Attack Order's in here, because there's literally one card that could benefit it, and I think that's Be a Dragon, so bit of an odd choice there. In our sixth deck, we have the Masked Beast deck. So overall, I think this deck, the aim is to get out the Ritual, the Masked Beast, or the Masked Beast Descardius, which are huge beat sticks, which I don't think we have anything that could come close to remotely beating over. And because we only have 4,000 life points in speed duels, like a 3,300 attack monster is absolutely massive. However, they're both a bit of a brick where you join into them, because the Masked Beast needs like at least 3 cards to get it summoned, being Masked Beast, the Ritual, and then enough for level 8. The Masked Beast, the Guardius, again needs 2 very specific cards to be tributed, and as well as, because we're playing Mask of Remnants in this deck, which is like an absolute brick because it can't be used otherwise, and Masked Beast, the Guardius, needs to pull it from its deck before it can be used, so if you draw it, it's just a dead card. Now, the Fairy deck actually turned out to be better than I thought it would be. There's cool combos like Bonds being able to turbo out Air Knight Parshath, which is like a decent body, has piercing, and you can draw after doing damage. There's also cards that let you draw as a flip effect, and some card that lets you, it's like Grand Mole, where you bounce a monster back to the hand, which is quite good to stall opponent when they whip out a big monster. You also have Valhalla, which lets you special summon your high level monsters from your hand, which are reasonably big bodies with okay effects as well. Actually, to be fair, this deck is somewhat usable unless you draw into all of the big monsters without Valhalla on your first turn. And finally, we have the Jinzo deck. I actually thought this deck was the worst deck of them all by far, because Jinzo isn't anywhere near as much of a god as he is in the normal format, and also the rest of these cards are just these low stat line, low body flip monsters that has not even a chance to survive until the next turn we can tribute it. I think the Dark Scorpions are literally the only cards with strong lines, that's why they have like rotor to maybe pull them out quicker, but I think otherwise you're looking at summoning them and then creature swapping your opponent's monsters to hope that you can destroy them and whatever they have can survive for another turn. Finally, we've got a few spare cards that we can use to power up our decks. Obviously, you've got Red Eyes, and mainly the rest are just powerful generic beat sticks that we can probably add to any deck. We've also got a few ritual monsters, which is pretty unusable, and some trap monsters, which is actually okay in this format. And that pretty much sums up all the cards we get in this Speed Duels Battle City box. I think overall this was quite a cool product, and Speed Duels is quite an interesting concept. I also think the secret rares were really cool. All of them were like nostalgia prints, and I didn't actually realise how hard it is to just collect the full set of them, because since there's 21 cards and each product you get 5, that means you need at least 5 products if you're lucky to even pull a set up at least one of each card. In the end, I paid about £21 for this box. We got quite lucky with getting the Blue Eyes and the Nobleman to cross out, and the value of our pulls ended up being about £21.34. Including the value of bulk, the total return is about 23 quid, which means that we've made a profit of £2.35. That's it for this week. Please join us again next week for more cool openings, as well as to find out whether we'll be able to pull some cool stuff and make our money back, or pull a lot of stinkers and make a big loss.